Have you ever stared at the ceiling at 3 a.m., numb, with the weight of 1,000 regrets crushing your chest? You feel hollow, yet the world demands you to keep moving. They call you weak, lazy, or dramatic, but they don't know. They can't know. The emptiness inside isn't just a feeling. It's a silence so loud it drowns everything else. And yet here you are, still breathing, still here. The beginning of this journey is recognizing that emptiness isn't defeat. It's the starting point. You've felt the nothingness, but you've also survived it. That's the first spark. They said you'd never make it, remember? They laughed when you tried. They dismissed your pain, reducing it to excuses. But it wasn't their doubts that hurt the most. It was the way you started believing them. Their words etched themselves into your soul, creating scars deeper than any wound. Yet, here you are. Every scar is proof you didn't fall apart. Let their voices echo, but don't let them define you. Their doubts are fuel, not chains. You walk through life with a smile that feels like it's painted on. People think you're okay because you've mastered the art of pretending. But inside you're screaming, breaking, dying. They'll never see it unless you let them. But why should you? Why should you give them the satisfaction of knowing they've pushed you to the edge? Keep the mask for now. You'll take it off when the time is right. The mask isn't weakness, it's your armor, and it's holding you together until you're ready. Deep down, beneath the ashes of who you once were, there's still a flicker of life. You might not feel it now, but it's there. A tiny ember waiting for oxygen, waiting for you to fan it into a flame. They didn't break you completely. That ember is proof. You don't need to feel alive to start. That spark is enough for now. There comes a moment when the pain turns into rage, when the numbness gives way to defiance. It's not about proving anything to them anymore. It's about proving something to yourself. You look in the mirror and hate what you see, but that hate fuels you. It's the first time you've felt anything in a long time, and it burns. This is the turning point. Anger, when controlled, becomes the engine for change. Every journey begins with a single step, but what no one tells you is how hard that first step is when you're dead inside. It feels pointless. It feels futile. But you take it anyway. Not because you believe you'll make it, but because staying where you are is no longer an option. The first step is always the hardest, but it's the step that separates those who fight from those who surrender. Growth isn't beautiful, it's ugly, it's painful. It's crying in silence when no one's watching. It's failing over and over until you hate yourself for trying. But every tear, every failure is another brick in the foundation of the person you're becoming. They don't see the struggle, but one day they'll see the result. Your past will try to drag you back. Memories of your mistakes, your failures, your lowest points. They'll whisper in your ear telling you it's easier to stay dead inside. But the past only has power if you let it. You're not that person anymore. Confronting your demons isn't easy, but it's necessary. It's not them you're fighting. It's you. It's the part of you that wants to give up. The part that says, why bother? You have to face yourself in the dark, in the quiet, when no one else is around. That's the real war. Winning this battle is what separates the living from the merely existing. There's power in the silence, in the emptiness. It teaches you resilience. It forces you to listen to the voice inside, the one you've been ignoring. In that silence, you find clarity. You find yourself. The void isn't your enemy. It's your teacher. The pain you've endured is your greatest weapon. Every betrayal, every failure, every moment of doubt, they're all ammunition. You've survived things that would destroy most people. That's your edge. Pain doesn't have to break you. It can build you. You won't see the change at first. It's like watching grass grow. But one day, you'll look back and realize you're not the same person you were. The numbness is fading. The fire is growing. Trust the process, even when it feels pointless. One day, you'll wake up and feel something you haven't felt in a long time. Pride. It's subtle at first, but it's there. You're not dead inside anymore. You're alive enough to fight, alive enough to prove them wrong. This is the moment you've been fighting for. They'll see the change in you, the confidence, the strength, the fire. The same people who doubted you will start to fear you. They'll regret every word, every laugh, every time they dismissed you. This isn't about revenge. It's about redemption. You don't need their approval anymore. You don't need their validation. The only person you needed to prove anything to was yourself. And you did. You're alive, not just breathing, but truly alive. And that's something they can never take away. This is your story, dead inside but alive enough to rise. Now you know who you are. You've walked through the fire, endured the cold emptiness, and still stood tall. You are no longer a shadow of someone else's expectations. You are the version of yourself they never wanted you to become. The one who doesn't break, who doesn't stop, and who doesn't need their approval to exist. Self-awareness is your foundation. When you know who you are, their opinions lose all power. This time you're not rebuilding for anyone else. Every step forward, every decision, every risk, it's for you. The person you're becoming isn't designed to fit into their world. You're carving your own path, brick by brick, with the strength you found in the ruins of your old self. Rebuilding isn't just survival, it's creation. This life is yours now. There will be moments when you'll scare even yourself. The strength you've gained, the resilience you've built, it feels like a double-edged sword. You've learned how to fight back. But sometimes you wonder if you've become too hardened, too unfeeling, too much like the people who hurt you. But strength doesn't mean losing your humanity. It means protecting it. You've learned the balance they never did. You won't need to scream your victory from the rooftops. The silence of your success will echo louder than their words ever did. They'll see it in your eyes, in your stride, in the way you no longer look for validation. Your presence will be enough to remind them of what they tried to destroy and failed. Victory doesn't need applause. It only needs your quiet acknowledgement. Your story isn't just yours anymore. It's a beacon for those still lost in the dark. They'll see what you've done, what you've overcome, and realize they can too. You've proven that even when you're dead inside, you can still rise. And in rising, you've created a path for others to follow. Your pain wasn't meaningless. It became your power, and now it's your gift to the world. The person you are now isn't someone they can overlook. You've become an unstoppable force, not by luck or chance, but by sheer will. You've rebuilt yourself, piece by painful piece. And now the world has no choice but to take notice. You're here to stay. Their doubts are irrelevant. You've proven your worth, and no one can take that from you. Here's the truth. They're afraid of you now. Not because of what you've done to them, but because of what you've done without them. They'll never admit it, but your strength terrifies them, because it's proof that they never mattered as much as they thought they did. The power dynamic has shifted. You no longer need them, but they might need you. This isn't about just surviving anymore. Survival was the beginning, but now you're learning to thrive. To enjoy the moments you never thought you'd feel again. To see beauty in the world you once despised. Thriving doesn't mean forgetting the pain. It means growing because of it. You're not just alive, you're living. That's the ultimate victory. The fight doesn't end here. There will still be hard days, moments when the emptiness creeps back. But now, you know how to fight it. You've proven to yourself that no matter how low you sink, you can rise again. And you will. The battle never truly ends, but neither does your strength. Look back, just for a moment. Look at the person you were, the one who felt dead inside, who thought they couldn't go on. That person needed someone strong, someone relentless, someone who wouldn't give up on them. And you became that person, for them, for yourself. You didn't just prove them wrong, you proved yourself right. And now you're unstoppable. That's all. I'm out. By the way, if you want to level up in life, don't forget to show some love by hitting the like and subscribe button. Until next time.